Hey everybody, welcome. Just wanted to take a few minutes and kind of introduce myself and tell you what the intent of this video series is going to be about. It's about having fun. It's about having fun and doing cars on a budget. But it's also about taking and giving. I've spent a lot of time the last couple years taking from YouTube, give a couple guys a plug here. Thunderhead 289, Junkyard Digs, Vice Garage, Dylan McCool, Turner Rust. Every one of these guys are probably about half my age. I'm 53 years old. But what they have demonstrated to me is that they're just having fun. They're enjoying their youth. They're enjoying their love for cars, for engines, for MacGyvering things, for doing things on a budget, for figuring things out, and for never giving up. So I just want to give a little bit back. Hopefully I can share something with those of you that are in my situation where you got a family, you're in the middle of a pandemic, you're taking care of finances, you got to take care of your family. You got to pay the mortgage, you got to pay for the braces, you got to pay the electric bill, car insurance, you got to mow the grass, you got to fix everything that breaks, you got to do everything. You're super dad, right? Right. But we're all living there. But hopefully we can take a little time to kind of regress and get back to some of the things that we really enjoy doing. Because I got to tell you, in my life, there's a lot of things that we could be doing that's worse than spending a couple bucks on an old car in a garage. We're home, everybody knows what we're doing, we're safe, and we're still able to take care of our families. So, like I said, this is just about having fun. I hope I can add some value to the community. Okay? Thank you all. Okay, folks. So how many of you have one of these sitting in your backyard? Let me see if I can fix this a little bit. Not a professional here. Don't have a camera. Got a cheap Samsung phone. My kids and wife are gone, so I don't have any electronic experts here. But anyway, how many of you have one of these sitting in your garage or your backyard that you bought more than a year ago and said, you know what, I got plans for this beast, I'm going to get it done? Well, that's exactly what this is for me. This is a 1968 Galaxie 500 two-door coupe. Okay, and 1968 was the first year they came out with the 302, and there it is. I've got parts for this car strung everywhere. I've just got parts everywhere. I've got an intake, carb, heads I'm working on. But the key here is that I'm doing everything myself. I'm doing everything on a budget. So let's start with the engine. What I've done here, I didn't have any compression. I've rebuilt the front end of the engine as far as they had replaced the timing cover, the timing chain, the gears, the water pump. I wound up pulling the heads because I had zero compression on number 2, which is on the passenger bank. And as you can see, I've cleaned this up already a little bit. It's not looking too bad in here, but we've got a lot of work to go. And I've done everything myself. I've learned. I've watched other YouTube channels. And I got to tell you, one of the recommendations that I would make that has really helped me is go ahead and spend the 30 or 40 bucks and buy the shop manual. I have a reproduction shop manual, 1968 on this vehicle. So that definitely a help there. So what else is going on with this car right now? Not the priority, but you can see that I've already gutted the vehicle. I've got everything that I possibly could at this point pulled out. It's kind of dark in here. Got some lighting issues in my garage that I'm working on. I think I'm going to replace everything with LED. But we definitely got some issues here. Tomorrow, maybe later during the daylight, I'll show you what's in the trunk. I got some rust issues in the trunk. Love the patina. It's going to stay. As a matter of fact, if you look, let me shut this door. If you look at the front fender of this vehicle, you'll see a noticeable difference on this patina and then this patina that's on the door. I've done some cleaning on that. That's exactly how I'm going to leave it. Just got to figure out how I'm going to restore it. Okay. Just kind of want to show you what I've got going on right now. Please keep in mind, I know that a lot of mechanics is going to make y'all go just crazy and lose your mind. Remember, I'm just trying to get this engine running, rat rod. If I can't get it running, then I'm going to have to tear it down to the block and start fresh. And I'm prepared to do that if I need to. But anyway, what I've got the number 1 and the number 6 piston at the top. You can see I've already cleaned the head surface, and I'm working on cleaning the tops of these as well. And the other thing that I'm working on before I rotate the pistons here, there's a little lip, little edge right there. And I've already cleaned this up on the other side, and I can feel, you know, there's a little bit of a lip there, but the majority of this is some carbon buildup, and I'm sure it's wear on the cylinder walls as well, because I do not see any of the original hash marks. Once again, just trying to get this thing running. So this is how I'm doing it, using a lot of WD-40, but basically I'm just spraying some WD-40 in here to get some lubrication, and I'm trying not to put anything metal in there. I'm just using a Scotch-Brite pad, and I'm just going around and cleaning this up. That's all I'm doing. And when I get totally done with all these, I will actually try to get all this cleaned out, one piston at a time, just to get it as clean as I possibly can. So you can feel with your finger, and you can feel where the majority of that carbon buildup is that you need to get rid of. And I'm sure it's not really hurting anything because the rings aren't coming up that far. It's probably where the rings are stopping. But I got it apart. I want to get it cleaned up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and finish these, and then I'll come back when I rotate the engine. Okay, so I've got all these lips cleaned up, got that carbon built up off of it now, and you can see that the number 6 piston, I've cleaned the top. I'm just trying to get all the carbon off and everything. I'm trying to make this as clean as possible before I put it back together. You know what? If it doesn't run, at least it's going to be clean. And the way the engine turns over, I don't think there's any issues with the main bearings. It's pretty smooth. It may be wore out, but it's still smooth. They're not spun. So I don't see any reason why this thing isn't going to run. What I'm going to do is go ahead and hand crank the engine and get the next piston up and kind of show you here on number 5 piston in the front what I'm going to do here. I'm just cranking it by hand. I'm going to get that thing up as far as I can. And also I'm continuing to put a shop vac in here and clean all of this as much as possible to get any possible debris out of there. Now, what I am doing on the top of the pistons, I'm just using WD-40 as a lubricant, as a cleaner, because I don't want to use carb cleaner right now because it's going to clean all this off and it's going to rust. I'll do a last final cleanup before I do it. So what I am doing first of all is I'm taking this Scotch-Brite pad and I'm just kind of going over this and getting the surface off of it. I know there's other techniques. If you've got something you'd like to share, I'm all ears. I know there are Teflon attachments you can put on your grill and do this. And as we know, that all costs money. What I'm trying to do is use what I have on hand, even if it takes a little bit more elbow grease. You know, time is important, but I've got a little bit of time right now to not spend a bunch of money. Like I said, this is intended to be a budget builder. You can already see how that's cleaning up. So what I'll do now, I'm trying to keep a wire brush, especially away from the cylinder walls, but I am using a wire brush to try to get some of this carbon buildup off the tops of the pistons. And as you probably already know, the top of the piston isn't going to be touching anything. It's where all the combustion happens. So what I'm doing is I'm just putting a lot of elbow grease into this and getting all of this carbon buildup. Anything that I can do to enhance airflow and combustion, I'm doing before I put all this back together. And so anyway, that's what I'm doing here. Once again, you can see in here in these creases, there's a lot of crud buildup, and what I'll do is I have a little tool. You can use like a paper clip or something. I'm being very gentle. I'm just nudging that crud because I want to get it out of there. And I'll continue to work on this. I'll continue to work through all the pistons and do this. And then when we're complete with that, we'll come back in. Probably the next step is I've already got one lifter out. That's why this rag is in here. I've got a rag in the distributor port. I want to keep any more crud. There's crud on the inside of this engine, and we'll see that when we drain the oil. But I need to get these lifters out. I need to get them inspected. I need to get them cleaned and make sure they're functional before we start putting the heads back on and the intake and the carb. So that's where we're at for now. I'll go ahead and get all this done. Not going to bore you with that, and we'll be back after that.